Hey everyone and welcome! So, have you ever heard someone use the phrase ugly customer and just thought, what on earth does that mean? It's a super interesting English idiom, but it's also one that's really easy to misunderstand. So let's dive in and figure out what it's really all about.
Okay, so picture this. You overhear someone say, "Bosku hari ini benar-benar ugly customer." Now, your first reaction might be to think, wow, that is just incredibly rude to say about their boss's looks. But this is a perfect example of why idioms are so fascinatingly tricky, because what you hear isn't always what you get.
So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Is this actually about how someone looks? Well, the short answer is absolutely not. So let's unpack what's really going on when you hear this phrase. All right, first things first. Before we get into the real definition, we have to tackle the #1 misunderstanding right off the bat. And here it is, plain and simple. The word ugly in this phrase has absolutely, positively nothing to do with physical looks. It's a classic case of an idiom that could totally throw you off if you try to take it literally. Okay, so if it's not about being physically unattractive, then what in the world does it mean? Let's get into the real definition. This is where it all starts to make sense.
And here we have it. An ugly customer is simply a person who is difficult to deal with, gets angry easily, is rude, or just seems likely to cause some trouble. You see, it's all about their attitude and their behavior, not their face.
Let's break that down a little bit more. We're talking about someone who's just difficult to deal with, or sulit dihadapi. You know, they might get angry really easily, mudah marah. Or maybe they're just plain rude and stubborn, kasar and keras kepala. It all points to a personality that's just tough to be around, and sometimes even aggressive.
And this is a key point. You know, it's an informal phrase. You're probably not going to write this in a formal business report, but it's the perfect way to quickly tell a friend or a coworker about someone who's creating a really tense situation.
Okay, so we've got the definition down, but you know, the best way to really understand an idiom is to see it in action, right? So let's look at a couple of real-world examples. All right, let's circle back to that first sentence we heard, the one about the boss. In English, you might say, "My boss was really an ugly customer today. He got angry over small things throughout the meeting." And in Indonesian, that comes out as, "Bosku hari ini benar-benar ugly customer. Ia marah pada hal kecil sepanjang rapat." See how that works? It's not about his appearance. It's about his behavior, getting mad about little things. That's what makes him an ugly customer. Or how about this one? In English, "We avoid that man because he is known as an ugly customer in this neighborhood." And the Indonesian version, "Kami menghindari pria itu karena dia terkenal sebagai ugly customer di lingkungan ini." So in this case, it's not describing a one-time thing. It's about the man's entire reputation for being difficult and confrontational. All right, let's wrap this up with a quick review. If you take away just one thing from our little chat today, I want it to be this. The single most important thing to remember is this. Ugly customer describes behavior, not appearance. It's all about someone being difficult, rude, or even aggressive. It's a super useful, informal way to describe that kind of personality. And that's a wrap. So now you know exactly what someone means when they talk about an ugly customer.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.